So my name is Elayne. I'm from Oneida. I work here at Southwest Ontario Aboriginal Health Access Centre as the Integrated Care Manager. Coming to this panel is not a comfortable position for me, especially being so emotionally charged and knowing and experiencing everything I've done raising my own children here in the community. But I always strive to make a better place, and I believe it begins with this. In our Indigenous culture and ways, we talk about we have to come together with one mind, one good mind. These are from our great law of peace information that dates back for centuries, that we have to gather together under the tree of peace and bring our minds together as one to solve what it is that we need to do to make a better future for our children. And our ancestors always talk about that. We have to take a look at the past. Our ancestors, 7 generations, thought about where we are today and did all they can to improve the lives. If that means that, coming from another country to come to Canada, we welcomed you. But at the same time, we have to take a look at what are we going to do together to make a better future for Canada. And the Indigenous people, like all of you have said, tend to be the forgotten voice or pushed aside or tokenism. I've sat on many community board of directors, CAS, City of Windsor Race Relations Committee, many ad hoc committees, always striving to make a better place. More recently, I've had the City of Windsor Police, probably only because we have this movement, and thank you to our Black brothers and sisters, the Black Lives Matters, that also highlighted again the injustices to our Indigenous people and the racism that exists right here in Windsor. So I've had Windsor Police Chief participant ask me to join their advisory council that they're beginning to do. I supported the City of Windsor Police and I supported the city throughout a lot of tasks that they've underwent. And I was really happy to hear when they went on a very large commitment to take a look at their own policing force and the systematic racism that happens and what they can do to make a better place. And I remember going to many graduating cadets. I'm sorry, I don't know the proper terminology. Always looking, where's our Indigenous representation? Always sharing to anyone I meet that our community needs to reflect who we are. And we're a very multicultural community. And Indigenous, we do have a large Indigenous population here. And I never see our people reflected in these institutions. So I thank the city, or I thank the University of Windsor for the initiative they took to ensure that there's Indigenous folks hired in each department. And that is why I'm here, thanks to my sister, beautiful woman, Bev Jacobs, who encouraged me to participate. Again, we're always the forgotten voice, and it's so easy to go within our own institutions to look for the help that we need to get us through this next event we need to do. But remember the community folks, or the Indigenous community folks that are living and breathing and have a voice to be heard. And I want to thank our Jeremiah and Janice for sharing about the health inequities. And that's why SOAHAC exists here. And we're continuing to grow and expand. And through COVID, yes, we've been reacting. And yes, we had to find new ways to adapt to support our community with all of the regulations required. We are, since May 12th, we started screening any First Nations person and testing any First Nations person that think they may have COVID. Because yes, we are a vulnerable population group. So we've been very busy here trying our best to adapt. It's been very difficult. Our community members always are looking for our elders. And some of our elders are in the United States that travel to this community, and they're shut down by these borders that never existed to us as Indigenous people. And going back to your opening words, you talk about this land being the land of the Anishinaabe Nation, the Three Fires Society. I'd like to share with you that this land that we're standing and breathing on right now is a territorial land. There was an agreement made. There's a wampum belt that acknowledges the unique relationship that the Haudenosaunee, our nation, the Iroquois nation, have with the Anishinaabe nation. It's called the Dish with One Spoon territory. So in our oral history, this is Dish with One Spoon territory. So again, it's those voices, like who's the loudest person to come to the forefront to say this is our place, this is our land. A lot of times our voices are shut down or not heard. And I know there was a young lady that came to the university that expressed and tried to share our oral history and he even had the support of our chiefs, our traditional longhouse chiefs, to help Canadians understand the true history of the land that we're currently calling Windsor. That's one piece, but the more important piece is, as we move forward, how do we ensure that the Indigenous voices are heard? And I felt, you know, I've been in this community 30 years and sat a number of committees. I feel tired. And you hear that with all of our, you know, the Black Panthers elders and, you know, the ones that have been in the movement for years. We get tired. We try, we share. We feel like we're a token. And really, our health matters. And I just want to talk about a positive thing that happened in this community. Eddie Francis, a past city mayor, was one, and the City of Windsor was one of many, first I shouldn't say many, one of few municipalities throughout Canada that supported the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. And I remember being there when he signed that document in Windsor. And I felt honored, and I thought, wow, we're going to make positive change. Yet every one of us, well, not every one of us, but a lot of us mentioned the United Declarations, right? And how far have we came with supporting the Indigenous people in that? So it talks, it's right here. It's the words that the world has come to, the World Health Organization's talked about that. We need to be respected, honored. We need to ensure that the health, the mental wellness of our Indigenous communities is supported by each and every one of you. It's not a sidebar. It's not a token person at the table. Just like our Black lives, our young Black youth that shared his voice, it's about truly supporting and honoring and giving us that space and supporting what it is that we know what our needs are. And that's why SOAHAC exists, because we have the ability to support, we have a right to support our community the best way that we see fit. And it's been difficult when some of our elders aren't able to come and visit our community. It's been difficult when I can't go to my own reserve to participate in my spiritual ceremonies because there's borders. So it's been a very trying time for us, but we are resilient. If you take a look and you've learned any of the history of what Indigenous people in Canada and the United States have been through, we are still thriving, we are resilient, and we will continue to support you as a collective because we have our teachings that we're all one of the Creator's children, right? Every one of us are represented in that medicine wheel that you'll see right in downtown Toronto, right? All of us are one children, and we all will come together under that tree of peace with one collective voice to support the future of this city, province, country, and more importantly, the world. Yahweh, miigwech. Thank you.